A few key points that the protesters and supporters need to know about the Ferguson situation. Details are surfacing about the serious facial injury that was allegedly inflicted upon police officer Darren Wilson, who shot Michael Brown, the 6'4", reported 290-pound man who he encountered moments after allegedly he committed a felony strong-arm robbery. Of course, the vast majority of the social media sleuths have just jumped on half-truths and misinformation and become part of a festival over there in Ferguson, really, a circus. But here are some of the details. The police officer, reportedly, according to multiple sources, received a serious facial injury, having his eye socket shattered after being attacked by Michael Brown, which resulted in him shooting him. His injuries were so serious that he was nearly beaten unconscious before he unloaded. Of course, the protesters just have overlooked this fact. Of course, they just branded the Michael Brown shooting as cold-blooded murder. And then after details came out that he committed allegedly a felony strong-arm robbery just moments before getting encountered, people said that that shouldn't matter. The police officer didn't know that that was Michael Brown that he was encountering. Well, even if he didn't, Michael Brown himself, after having just allegedly committed this felony robbery, would undoubtedly want to flee from any police. But apparently instead of fleeing from the police, he decided to attack the police, as the original supposed hands-up stories are falling apart. Eyewitnesses that are on the scene, not just social media rumors, including a conversation that was recorded by a bystander, an eyewitness moments after the shooting, casts doubt on the claims that the teen surrendered to the police officer. Most of the protesters are from out of town, actually many of them even from out of state, coming to the festival in Ferguson. They just want to be a part of the police state. It's exciting for them. Same reason people go and watch police dramas in the movies or on television. It's they like the drama, they like the power, they like the adrenaline rush of being in the middle of a police state, police encounter. Support is continuing to grow for Officer Darren Wilson, while the crowd continues to be flamed off of half-truths. And do I need to remind everybody that the social media sleuths have gotten just about everything wrong, including the first leaked name of the officer was wrong. And then after the police department, released the name to try to prevent the lynching from the wrong police officer, then the incorrect photo of the incorrect Darren Wilson started circulating. Then after news surfaced that Michael Brown, allegedly committed a strong-arm felony robbery just moments before being encountered, people said, that's just not him. It doesn't look like him. It's a person in different clothes. And then, his family lawyer admitted that it was him, and his buddy that was with him admitted that they did rob the gas station. And then, of course, people said he was shot in the back when he was running away. No, the autopsy reveals he was shot in the front. Then people criticize him being shot 6 times, thinking that the police officers supposedly fire a warning shot or shoot at people's legs, not to terminate an imminent threat. When somebody who's 6'4", reported 290 pounds, fractures your skull after punching you in the face, that certainly does warrant deadly force. Of course, I'm not endorsing or approving or defending the police state tactics. Of course, I've been warning about the rise of the police state for 10 years now, the militarization of the police force, violating posse comitatus and people's civil rights. But again, that was in response to a looting, a burning of a gas station where the slaves stole some free candy and soda, and broke into a shoe store to get some free Air Jordans, and broke into a tire store to get some free rims. So to try to prevent this small community from being burned to the ground by this angry mob, an overextended police presence was employed. But as the details that have been buried about the serious facial injury now finally coming to light, but again, most people will ignore those facts, already have been so personally invested in the half-truth social media hype by the trendies that they are in denial and will come up with any kind of conspiracy theory to defend their already insane actions. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're new. Check out some of the previous videos in the playlists. Try to take off your racist spectacles, people, and just realize that sometimes thugs attack police officers and get shot.
You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of sound. A dimension of sight. A dimension of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You've just crossed over into the Twilight Zone.
Alright, here we go. Not a YouTuber, just like making videos. Now I can see why Darren Wilson has acquired close to $500,000 and a whole lot of support. It's because of rhetoric and false information like this. Now, I don't know this guy Mark Brown. This is but doing my research on him and looking at his other videos, and I know he writes books. Now this guy is pretty much a poor man's Alex Jones. I'm like, he has videos about Nicki Minaj and Illuminati symbols, videos about Rich Ross. So, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna take this. I'm like, he's nobody to be taken serious and so forth. You take him about as serious as you would, you know what I'm saying, the Inquirer, you know, one of those tabloids, you know. But, you know what I'm saying, let's go. I'm like, a philosopher once said, if you can't find the truth, then you can mold a lie out of clay. And that's what's going on here. You know, they talk about the Mike Brown supporters, the protesters, are a big festival. But, you know what I mean, the Darren Wilson supporters are drinking the Kool-Aid, you know. I mean, they seem like a brain-dead cult. And these guys, their mind is already made up. You know, they feel that, oh, the media is being biased. Michael Brown is a stone cold thug. Darren Wilson is innocent, and so forth. And they're willing to latch on to any tidbit of information they can on Darren Wilson's side. Even though if there's no proof, no photographs, no nothing, all somebody has to do is say something. Like, let's take this guy Mark Dice. He talks about the social media sleuths, you know, and so forth, talking about, you know what I'm saying, and their miscoverage, you know, the Mike Brown situation. But he's being a social media sleuth himself. You know, and a pretty terrible one at that. Now, I won't even call him, I'll call him a social media slut. You know, because sleuth means you're just trying to do some sort of detective work. But, so how is Mark Brown, Mark Dice, different or whatever? Gotta get these names right. You know, and he's going off just hearsay. I'm like he talks about, Darren Wilson had a fractured eye socket. Well, that's been proven to be inconclusive, but there was actually a troll. A troll actually created that rumor. You know what I mean? So people are trying to find whatever information they can to help Darren Wilson, but they can't, so they'll believe in a whole lot of lies and a whole lot of hodgepodge or whatever. And then look at what Mark Dice is saying. Now he says that, oh, never mind. Darren Wilson with a fractured eye socket. Darren Wilson got beaten half to death. You know what I'm saying? He got beaten semi-unconscious. I'm like, really? someone with a fractured eye socket that got beaten to a pulp. You know what I mean? Beaten almost into a coma as can let off shots like he's like you know, and makes the kill shot. I'm like, come on now. And then we go. Let me go into the supposedly strong-armed robbery there, which I don't believe that there was in a robbery, strong-arm robbery. If it was, then Mike Brown's friend would be an accomplice. So why didn't they arrest him? You know, I understand that Mike Brown got killed, but his friend there was part of a crime, and his friend, I'm like, the Darren Wilson supporters should be demanding the detainment of Mike Brown's friend because he was part of a strong-arm robbery. But no. People know that's a bunch of malarkey. They say that there was a 911 call, that the store clerk called the police, you know, that, he just got robbed. We did not hear any audio files from the 911 call and so forth. And you mean to tell me, the thing is, they're trying to paint Mike Brown, in mine, not more so of a thug, but I'm like, this is a illogical maniac. Going by their perception of Mike Brown, that even a thug doesn't have this sort of behavior. Like, Mike Brown goes into perform strong arm robbery, which when most people do it, they go in there, they grab it. They call it smash and grab, things of that nature. Look at Method Man's video called I forgot it. Bring the Pain. Bring the Pain. The unedited version, the uncensored version. You know, and New York, you know, they did that quite often. They ran inside stores, they grabbed shit, and they just ran out. You know what I mean? The dudes that do this and so forth. Even though they easily have the power, you know, they have the muscle to overpower the store clerk. They're doing something wrong. They grab shit and they run. Now with Mike Brown, which it seems like there was some sort of interaction there. You know, he grabs some stuff, you know, and then walks out the store nonchalantly. The store clerk confronts him and he eyeballs him down. That's just, you know, usually when people grab stuff and they just leave, they don't want to confront the clerk or whatever. And then Mike Brown and his friends casually walks up the street, sees a cop car. Now, if they just committed a strong-arm robbery, they would assume if they saw a police car, they would say, oh shit, that's the cops. He called the cops on us, and they'll haul ass. But then Mike Brown has a tussle with the cops. I'm like, this, going by the description, Mike Brown is a straight-up maniac. I think that there was no strong-arm robbery. There was just there was conflict between Mike Brown and the store clerk, probably about payment. Mike Brown maybe shortchanged him, gave him counterfeit money. Maybe he didn't know the bills were counterfeit, but it did seem like the clerk, Mike Brown, put something on the counter and the clerk had something in his hand. Now, if they would have committed strong-arm robbery, the clerk, you know, should have immediately just stayed away from them, call the police. You know, not try to confront them because obviously these guys are criminals. So yeah, you know what I mean. It's the whole strong-arm robbery deserves a little bit more detective work to see exactly what happened there and so forth. But okay, you know, going back into Mark Dice. Now this guy he's someone, he's like an Alex Jones. You know, observing him, he's like a poor man's Alex Jones. And the reason why I stopped listening to Alex Jones is due to the Trayvon Martin situation, where Alex Jones said Trayvon Martin was a thug. Then I realized Alex Jones was just some sort of nut, a lunatic. Same thing with Mark Dice. Mark Dice is just an opportunist or whatever. Now Mark Dice will sit up there and tell you that stuff like this is a distraction. We need to worry about the government and the Freemasons and so forth. But when you talk about Nicki Minaj and the Illuminati, that's also a distraction. And none of these Illuminati theories has actually hurt, you know what I'm saying, people like Nicki Minaj, Rick Ross, and Jay-Z. they still maintain popularity. It's not like people say that, oh, they're part of the Illuminati, they're Freemasons, and people stop listening to their albums and stop going to their concerts. Matter of fact, these entertainers have been able to use that to their advantage and play with it and so forth. And you're only giving them more power and you're giving them more attention. So that there is a distraction. I stopped paying attention to ridiculous Illuminati theories a long time ago. Even if they are part of the Illuminati, who really gives a fuck? You know what I'm saying? Who cares? You know, I'm like, it's obvious that they gain their popularity by making shitty ass music, because that's what people like. Okay, you know what I mean? Going back, so there's no way that I'm gonna really take this guy seriously. But you know what I'm saying? People like Mark Dice, you know, there's people like Stefan Molyneux that has already, you know what I'm saying, tried to milk this thing and become Darren Wilson supporters and so forth. And the thing is, as much as they talk about big government coming down on us and that we're going into a police state, then why would they support a cop and so forth? And if they do believe that people like Trayvon Martin and Mike Brown are these helpless thugs, complete nuisances to our well-being, menace to society, it's gonna justify the presence of the cops and justify them using deadly force and justify us being a police state. Hence, since you have these thugs running around, we need cops to protect us and so forth, and therefore this will give the police unlimited power due to, you know what I mean, this criminal element that needs to be dealt with. But of course, people aren't smart enough to figure it out. People simply want to listen to information that makes them feel good or whatever, that justify their narrative and their way of thinking. But it's situation is getting critical, folks. Situation is getting critical. That's all I want to say. Thanks for watching and sally forth.